Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. My name is Jessica Oliveira, and I am an academic advisor in the STAR Center in the College of Arts and Sciences. I will be chatting a little bit more about that later. But first, I'd like to just give you a quick little overview of our session. We are joined today by Dean Enton, our fearless leader in the College of Arts and Sciences, as well as Ben Bowman, who is a biology major, current student at the university, also on the pre-health plan. So he'll be chatting a little bit more about that in a few minutes. I just want to highlight one thing. We have a chat in the lower left-hand corner, so please feel free to use that. Ask any questions as we're going through the presentation. Whomever isn't speaking will take a look at that, and we'll try to either answer your questions aloud or we will type in the chat. Want to highlight one other thing that will remind you again at the end of the presentation. In the lower left-hand corner of your main screen are the Zoom links. There was a little bit of a discrepancy, but we believe 12 o'clock is the next time. So you'll have an opportunity to click on one of those links and learn a little bit more about majors in the College of Arts and Sciences. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Dean Enton to take it away from there. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Pauline Enton. I am the Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences at UMass Dartmouth, as Jessica said. First, let me congratulate you on your acceptance to UMass Dartmouth. My colleagues and I are so pleased you are considering us as one of your options. And let me also congratulate you on college in general. It's a great decision. Did you know that on average, college graduates earn $25,000 to $30,000 more per year than someone with only a high school degree? That difference could buy you a new car every year. You might not want to stand in line at the Department of Motor Vehicles every year, but it still gives you an idea of the big difference a college degree makes. Studies also show that college graduates have much greater job eligibility, that is, more choices, and also lower rates of unemployment. So again, all in all, it's a great choice. There are lots of important things to consider in your college selection. I mean, which one? Including things like distance from home, what academic programs are offered, of course, also cost. But maybe the most important thing for you to consider in your decision about universities are the people. The faculty, the staff, and your fellow students. These are the people you're going to spend time with for 4 years. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the people of UMass Dartmouth. In the College of Arts and Sciences, we have about 2,000 undergraduate students. We're the biggest college at UMass Dartmouth. Of course, Jessica and I think we're the best as well. I'd say that we're big, but we're really not too big. We have many students from Massachusetts, but we also have students from all over the United States, as well as many different countries around the world. And given our size, you'll actually meet all these people. Our students have lots of interests, and in just a few moments, you'll meet a current student, Ben, and he'll tell you about his major and student life here. We also have great faculty, also very important people at UMass Dartmouth. And a really cool thing about several of our faculty is that they attended UMass Dartmouth themselves. So they know exactly what it's like to be a student here. Our faculty do exciting research, and they are very caring teachers. You have the opportunity to meet and talk with some of our faculty starting at noon today, as Jessica said, in the department session. You don't need to study to know that direct and personalized interaction between students and faculty mentors is one of the most important and impactful aspects of college. But just so you know, studies do show that. Here at UMass Dartmouth, we have really not very many large classes. Most of your classes will have 30 or fewer students. So you'll have lots of opportunity for meaningful discussion in these smaller classes. And that's an important advantage that we have by not being too big of a school. Another opportunity you'll have is to work directly with faculty on research. And that's not just in sciences. Students work with faculty in all areas. They work with faculty and staff in research, but also public outreach and important service activities in the community. We have faculty who've taken students to places like Mexico, Canada, the Azores, Iceland, and Colombia to learn and conduct research. Maybe you'll be inspired to study abroad for a semester or maybe even a year. So some of you might know exactly what you want to major in, and some of you really might not know what major you want. Either way, that's totally fine. We offer 22 choices of major, as well as 25 minors and concentrations. So we're pretty confident there's something for everyone. You'll have time to explore options, whether you think you know already or you have no idea, you'll have time to explore. And some of you, I think, will likely find options that you didn't even know existed. In the College of Arts and Sciences, you'll also take a variety of courses outside your major. And those cover skills that employers really want. Good writing, good public speaking, problem solving, critical thinking. Study after study shows these are what employers want. I want to also highlight that we have a minor called Data Analytics. And this is specifically designed for non-sciencey, non-mathy majors to learn data analysis skills that are important in so many jobs today. And if you are mathy and sciencey, don't worry, we have data science. I could go on and on about our college, and I hope you'll watch the college videos, and I hope you'll check out our web pages, and most importantly, the live sessions that you have the options to attend. But for now, I'd just like to leave you with a warm welcome and let you know that our dedicated faculty and staff are ready and willing and eager for you to start your exciting college journey with us in the fall. So I'm going to turn this back over to Jessica, who will describe the Star Center, which is without a doubt my favorite place on campus. And she'll tell us about her role and her colleague's role with students.
Thank you so much, Dina. And yes, so I do work in the Star Center, which stands for the Student Transition Achievement Resource Center. And so what does that mean? What do we do there? Well, we do a little bit of everything. It's housed in the College of Arts and Sciences. The university as a whole has 5 colleges. And so I would say the College of Arts and Sciences is my favorite as an alum from the university in a major in sociology. So I kind of came back home after all of that. But I work with a dynamic group of people. We have professional advisors in the center. We help with advising. So we have a population of students that come in, Arts and Sciences Undeclared, which you may be in that boat right now, and that's fine if you're there. Give a little shout out to my colleague, Romaine Grace, who will be doing a session after this. So if you are feeling undeclared, you can hop into his session. And that's okay if you feel that way. We do a little bit with all students in the College of Arts and Sciences. So if you come in as a psych major and you're working with your faculty advisor, all majors do get assigned a faculty advisor. You can come down and see us, and we are really that additional support for you. So you'll have some advising with your faculty, and then you come in and you say, hey, Jess, last semester I really struggled with time management. I really had a hard time, managing my study skills or advocacy or whatever that is. And we'll work with you to really figure out what are the things that we can help you with, what are things that are working that you can continue doing, what are some things that need improvement. Let's face it, nobody gets through college on their own. I think even as us, we look back, right? I'm sure you do, Dina, and there was somebody there that was your connection, that was your cheerleader, that was your rah-rah person, right? That's for us too, and that's how we feel we are in the Star Center. So we hope that you come in and see us, because not only can you connect with us, but we have faculty members that come in and they spend some time there, and you can do some planning. You can talk with them about majors. We have workshops. So like I said, time management, study skills, how do I choose a minor? How can I complement this major? How can I make myself more marketable after I graduate? We'll connect you with resources on campus like the Career Center. Sometimes students have identified a major, but they're just not quite sure, okay, what am I going to do with this major? What does my career look like? So that faculty advisor is great because they're an expert in the field, but you also want to connect with the Career Center, right? So that you have a resume running alongside with your transcript, because that's equally as important as your classroom experience. So all of those things that, just as a college student, how do we navigate through this? How do we find our way? I feel like that's what the Star Center does. I feel very fortunate to be there. Like I said, I have amazing coworkers. The faculty that's there, we have peer mentors that come in so they can chat with you a little bit and help navigate that process. Tons of workshops. We're open on a walk-in basis or by appointment. in the fall semester, second floor of the Liberal Arts Building. I know you probably haven't had a chance yet to tour the campus. It's probably been a little virtual. We understand that. But our goal in the fall is to be back on campus, fully up and running, so that you can come in and see us, and we hope that you do that. Like I said, I am an alum of the school. I had a wonderful experience at UMass Dartmouth, but of course, it's been a few years since I've been there. So really, you want to hear from the experts who are currently at the university. And we are also joined by Tatiana DeSantos, who is a crime and justice major as well. And so we're going to hear a little bit about their experience and their time that they have at the university now. Oh, you're on mute.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Can you guys hear me? You guys can hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
So I realized, Tatiana, I was on mute.
She was on mute.
Oh, okay. Oh,
we all do this. I thought, I'm not going to do this, but I did. So thank you for joining us, Tatiana. Thank you for joining us, Ben. So each of you, if you would tell us, you started to do your name, your major, why you chose UMass Dartmouth, and what you plan to do after you leave here, what some of your career aspirations are. And Tatiana, if you want to start, that'd be great.
I actually thought you were talking to me. I thought that I was just like supposed to jump right in. But so I'm a senior at UMass, crime and justice studies major. I am hoping to do grad school after I graduate, which will be in May, or actually in June, technically. But I've had the best experience at UMass. Specifically in my program. In my program, the people I've encountered have been absolutely amazing. And they are the ones who really encouraged me to go for it for grad school afterwards. I mean, I always wanted to go to law school because I wanted to become a lawyer. And actually, like, this program, I would not have wanted to be anywhere else because I feel like I really figured out what I wanted to do. Like, I wanted to be a lawyer, but I was just like, I want to be involved in social justice, just wanted to be in that sphere. And I didn't exactly know where I fit, and the program really, really helped me. And now I'm hoping to be getting my JD PhD one day. And yeah, I'm just really, really excited. And I can't recommend crime and justice studies enough.
Hi, everybody. My name is Ben. Like Tatiana, I am a senior here at UMass. I actually transferred in, and I saw a couple of questions in the chat saying, how do we do that? How do we get an academic counselor? Well, one of the reasons that I actually chose UMass was for the mentorship and for research opportunities. So looking at different colleges, I looked at UMass and I saw that they put such an emphasis on undergraduate research. And that's huge for me being a pre-med student. Everybody knows that, research is super important getting into med school. The experiences you have are really important. And UMass just has such a good infrastructure to set that up for you. So I would say that if you're considering pre-med, if you're considering biology at all, we have an academic advisor. We have a pre-med advisor that helps you along too. But I also use professors that are not necessarily part of the pre-med track, and they've helped me so much. So, for example, I work in a lab with an ecology professor, which really has nothing to do with the medical field. But he knew that I was trying to get into med school. He knows how important research is. So he took the opportunity to let me come into his lab and help him out just to get that experience, which is so important to me. So, I mean, if a mentor is really important to you, there's nowhere better than UMass.
Okay, thank you guys so much for sharing that information. Maybe I can ask a few little follow-up questions. I also want to encourage anyone watching, if you want to ask some questions in the chat, we're more than happy to manage that as well. Maybe, Ben, you can share with us, now that you're a senior, right, and you're getting close to the finish line, looking back on your first semester, first year, is there anything that you can give for some advice? I wish I had known, or just kind of help welcome students coming in?
Yeah, so the biggest thing for me is when you're just entering a school, whether you're a freshman or you're transferring, just talking to your professors, whether it's in the class, asking questions, or taking the time outside of the classroom to email them, ask them a question, ask them how they can maybe help you get to where you want to be. Letters of recommendation for pre-med students are super important. So building that relationship early on so that professor really knows you as a student and outside of the classroom is very, very important.
Awesome. Thanks, Ben. How about you, Tatiana? Looking back, right? So it's been an amazing ride, I'm sure, a huge journey during this time. Anything that you can add for our students coming in that might be a little nervous, maybe even especially now with, COVID last year, but what advice can you give to an incoming freshman?
I guess I can echo what Ben said and say that I would never have had the experience that I had if I hadn't been so close with my professors. I can only speak for the professors in crime and justice studies, but they are so accommodating. They are so understanding as people, and they see us as people. And I really felt like I felt like I was seen as like an equal instead of and it was just very, there was so much communication with them that they gave you all the opportunities. Here are my office hours. Do you need help? It was the biggest thing for me was my relationship with my professors, because they've also opened so many doors for me after that, because they know me as a student, they know me as a person. So it's like, if there's something that they know I'd be interested in, I'm called in, hey, do you want to do this? I was supposed to go to Puerto Rico, but I didn't, a part of a research trip. And I didn't know about that. I didn't know, I just wasn't in kind of that circle. And so my professor, she knew that I was into anti-colonialism. She knew that that was a blank space in the Plenitude program. And she asked me if I would like to do that research and go to Puerto Rico with them. And I was like, of course. What? Of course I'm going to Puerto Rico. Eventually, we're hoping to get to Puerto Rico. But we still got our research done, and it was going to be published. We were going to do a summit, all this stuff. And I would never have done that if my professor didn't know what my interests were. And they've opened so many doors for me. I'm going to be published before I even graduate, because one of my professors, it's just, they're really great, and they will mentor you if that's what you're looking for. I guess if I were to say something I wish I knew, I wish I knew that COVID was coming. That's all. That's all. I guess when I showed up, everyone was so accommodating. As long as you get involved, you'll have a great experience.
So looks like we do have a question in the chat for Ben. If you can answer maybe a little bit more about the prereqs of getting into the pre-health and some things you've done along the way.
Yeah, for sure. So I am biology, but to be pre-med, you can be any major that you want to be. So a lot of people think that you only can be bio or chemistry if you want to be pre-med, but really it's any major, as long as you have those prereqs to get into medical school or dental school or wherever you want to go. You can be any major that you want. So if you're interested in, say, music, study music, do music. It makes you stand out. It makes you a different candidate. As long as you have those prereqs, that's really important. And the way to get into the pre-med track, I believe, is Frank Scarano. So if you email Dr. Scarano, he can help you out. No matter what major you're in, he will make sure that you're on the right track pre-med wise.
Great. Thank you so much for that, Ben. I think what we're really hearing a lot from our students is that this is truly a collaborative effort, right? So when you're trying to navigate this and figure out what's going to be the best path for you, if you have questions, especially as Ben just shared with, Dr. Scarano, who's a wonderful faculty member, it's really all about thinking about what's going to be the best path for you, and talking to somebody. So whether it's with the STAR Center, whether it's with your faculty, whether it's with the Career Center, we want to make sure that you really fully know all your resources that you have on campus, because we just have a ton that we can offer to you as a student. Want to send it back to maybe Dean Etten if there's any other questions that she has, or if she wants to maybe echo that as well, some of the things that we've been chatting about.
Thanks, Jessica. One of the questions I see in the chat is about how you change your major. And Jessica, I know you're an expert in that.
Okay, yeah, of course I can chat about that as well. So a lot of students do change their major at the university. It's a very common practice. And so if you start in one and you feel like it's not a good fit, you're going to be one of many students that do that. So to change your major, the first and foremost thing you want to do is you can come into the STAR Center and talk with one of us. We will take a look at your transcript and see your current classes that you have now. Look at the major that you're interested going into, and then we'll talk a little bit about those requirements. Sometimes it's a very smooth transition quickly where we say, okay, you've taken these classes, you meet the GPA requirement, you do a change in major form, connect with the department chair that you're going into, the major, and then it's a change from there. Sometimes it's a little bit longer of a process, especially if students are interested in some of our more competitive majors, such as biology, going into engineering outside of the College of Arts and Sciences. And so maybe we'll take a semester or two to work on some of those prereq courses and make sure that you're hitting those benchmarks that are required to get into that major. But whatever the process is, I think the most important thing is to connect early. If the major you're in is not working, you really want to speak with an advisor as soon as possible, because the courses that you're in, if you're changing into another major, we want to make that adjustment as soon as we possibly can so that your credit can be smooth. I will let you know the first semester, most students are in what's called university studies classes. So the first semester is an opportunity to get done with some of the classes that are going to fit in any major under the sun at the university. And then, of course, if you're in a declared major, you'll have a major course too. But it's not a huge deal. And I tell students all the time, if you're not happy, make the change. You're going to work the next 40 or 50 years, you know. You want to be happy. If you're not happy where you are, take the leap. If you're not happy where you land, leap again. And so you just want to communicate that early. Dean Etten, if there's any other questions in the chat, I don't think I'm able to see all of them. Please let me know.
We should also let people know, Jessica, how they can get their questions answered if they weren't answered now. I believe our email addresses are available. And of course, also they can go in through any of the websites, email department chairs. So you're certainly welcome to send an email to any of us, as well as to department chairs if your question, if we somehow missed your question. And we also strongly recommend the sessions at noon, where you can get very specific questions about majors asked. So let's see. We have, I think, some questions about psychology. So I think one of the things about psychology is that there's two different pathways, really. There's really more than two, but there's two primary pathways. There's a clinical pathway. So if you might want to be a clinical psychologist, the kind of person who has clients in a clinical setting and helps people work through their personal issues, their mental health concerns, and so forth, we have a pathway there. We have a master's degree in that area. And then we also have a non-clinical area. So if you really get intrigued by how the brain works, or there's just so many other areas of psychology. I mean, even things like emotions and color and the association between color and emotions and so on. So there's also research paths. Tatiana, I think we may have also had a student asking about what kind of classes you take in crime and justice studies. That's not an area everybody knows, what it is.
Well, at noon, we are going to be doing a session where you can learn all about crime and justice studies and get like the more specifics about it. But my classes, crime and justice studies, is very unique as a major, and I mainly chose it because of the fact that I was interested in that sphere. I didn't really know exactly where. It's a combination of 3 different studies. A lot of colleges will do either criminology or justice studies or like justice research, things like that. Usually those are the 3 type things, and crime and justice studies puts all those together. So you basically have a choice of a really broad amount of like electives and stuff, but I've done like history of criminology was my favorite. That one was the most eye-opening for me. There's one class that's just specifically like the logistics of law and law and procedures, things like that. So we learned about procedure, we learned about history, I did research methods, so you learn how to research in the field. There's some law enforcement classes if that's what you're interested in. Really, you can, it's a major where as long as you're like interested in justice and crime and justice, it's like there's a class that you're going to find that's going to be like amazing. They also have the Inside Out program where you can do classes actually inside of a prison with inmates, and they are also taking the class with you. And so both perspectives are in the classroom. In the classroom, you have the classes that are geared more towards law enforcement, the classes that are geared more towards lawyers, classes that are geared more towards researchers. There's such a variety of classes you can choose in this major and paths you can take.
Thank you. So, Jessica, did you see any additional questions that we should answer verbally before we close out this part of the session?
I think we're okay right now, just in the interest of time, so students and everyone has a chance to look at the Zoom links. But I do want to just say a reminder as well that please reach out to us. Any questions that you have. We have online bookings links as well. So if you want to schedule a time to just chat with one of us as an advisor, of course, we're more than happy to do that. So I want to say thank you for listening to us this morning and taking your time to chat with us.
I want to thank our students, Tatiana and Ben, who obviously are very accomplished and are great resources in terms of what it's like to be a student here. Thank you for taking your time. Ben actually had to step out of a special lab session, and thank you for that. I do see, Jessica, one question that's related to how students register for fall. And so maybe you want to just explain that really briefly, because that can be really confusing, how as a first-year student you register.
Yeah, sure. So part of the orientation is a coin training video, which I encourage you to definitely take advantage and watch, because it will help you to kind of learn how to navigate through that process once you're fully on board here. For our first year students, when you enter the university, we have something that's called block enrollment. And so we put together a schedule for you. Those courses are going to consist of, like I had mentioned earlier, university studies, college requirements, your major courses. So you'll see that. But what really prompts that schedule for being created is your placement testing. So all students are required to take a math placement test if you're coming in as an incoming freshman. If you're coming in as a transfer and you already have math credits, you do not need to do that. But please be sure to go through your orientation information to access the math placement test. It is through the UMass Dartmouth portal. You can click on placement testing. If you're coming in as a student that's in a non-science major, you just need to take the algebra. If you're coming in as biology, chemistry, med lab science, engineering, you do need to take the algebra and the pre-calculus. Please be sure to take those tests back to back because it does time out. So you can go in and do that. Once you take that test, the score is automatically uploaded in the system. Our test person can take a look at that, the block enrollment, and then it kind of generates from there. Once you're in, your schedule is there. Advisors' assignments do not usually happen until the fall semester, 2 weeks after ad drop, just because there's some movement over the summer with changes of majors. So we wait till everybody's settled in. So in the interim, any questions that you have, you can direct them to us and we can make some changes. We just ask that you don't change your schedule because we do put your classes in a specific sequence. So any questions you have, let us know in the Star Center. We can help you from there.
Thank you, Jessica. All right, I see that we're actually out of time. Again, please, if you didn't get your questions answered, tune in at noon. You can ask again. If you still don't get your questions answered, we definitely want to answer your questions. So contact me, contact Jessica, contact a department chair. We're all super happy to answer those questions. We get how uncertain and confusing this process can be, and we're really happy to answer all your questions. But we are at time, and I need to say goodbye for now. And I hope you enjoyed this session, and we really appreciate you joining us.